Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Football for Life show with your host Wheeely. Um, just giving you, doing a quick episode here with you guys on kind of in the early evening. Uh, we just sort of as a reaction to the Liverpool versus Brighton game um, on Wednesday night. Um, wow, I mean, where do we start? Um, there's a number of different places I'd like to just say, and this is going to be very quick. It's only going to be about 5 minutes long, but um, initial thoughts. That was such a step back from the games that we played uh, against Tottenham and West Ham, and it was really disappointing to see that. Um, you know what was evident about the Tottenham and West Ham games is that, well, first of all, we looked like we could score bucket loads of goals. We did score bucket loads of goals. We cut them, both of those teams, open by at will. We sliced through their defense as if it was like their midfield and defense as if it was like a hot knife through butter. We forced tons of saves on the keepers. You know, we were able to play sort of a style that like it's been representative of what we've been doing over the last 5 years, basically. Very high pressing, very high intensity, very impressive football. But probably the crucial part, the most instinctive type of football, where we weren't overthinking passes, where passes were happening as if there had been no thought process through them. They just knew that there was such a harmony between the front three players in particular and the midfield behind them that it didn't really matter where the ball was. They knew that they could play a certain type of pass at a certain moment and it would come off, and it would lead for a chance on goal. The Brighton game, and I dipped in and out of it, but from what I saw, we had gone back to the pre-West Ham, pre-Tottenham game where we were overthinking every pass, where we were thinking, oh, well, what happens if this pass goes wrong or this cross goes wrong, or we get to the edge of the box. Do I pass it inwards? Do I cross it? Like, we went back to the aimless crossing into the box again, which showed 5 or 6 times in that game that there wasn't actually going to be a chance of our quite small front three on that night against the really tall centre backs like Dan Burn and people like Pascal Gross, like these guys, and Basuma in midfield. You know, um, it's frustrating because like we've seen in previous games that that wasn't going to work. That they were going to probably win every header. They're very good defensively, Brighton, and they're no mugs going forward either. And I thought we just took them for granted. I It was well, obviously we knew that we didn't have Mane. Um, to have Firmino in that team again, I love the guy. I'm not going to abandon him, but again, he had a poor game. Um, the and you there is a problem where if it's all reliant on Salah, like he can't just keep pulling us out of this all the time, and it's becoming increasingly like obvious that we're struggling against low block teams. And it's partly because we're not. It's where our injuries come in again. So because we don't have our prized central defensive partnership, and hopefully that'll be rectified with Ozone Kabak and um, the kid we got from Preston. Uh, that should rectify that situation. But Let me just organize my thoughts a little bit. Not having those defensive players means that our best midfielders have to go and play there, which means that we don't have many options for rotation in midfield. And I think we had a problem because we played Milner, Gini, and Thiago, which is a great midfield, but we've played that same midfield for 3 games in a row. And you could see in those games that people like Milner were going to tire. And yes, maybe they could have played that one extra game, being the Brighton game. But I think against Brighton, we didn't necessarily need a Milner type player for the whole game. I think we needed maybe like a Curtis Jones to play 70 minutes or 65 minutes or 60 minutes, and then bring Milner on once we're ahead, and we then use Milner to help see out the game. I obviously life with 2 of the front 3 not being on top form and one of them not playing makes it really hard because we don't have any natural goal. We don't have many out and out goal scorers to come off the subs bench. Like we just sent Taki Minamino out, and I think rightfully so, in my opinion, to Southampton to get more game time, to improve his confidence, to improve his skill set, and to get him adjusted to England. But it also meant them bringing on Divock. And I love the guy, and he's done many great things for us, but he is not consistent. He will give you some incredible moments, last minute winners, headers, snapshots, but they have been in the highest level games. And he doesn't do it on the day-to-day, week-to-week basis. And he often, whilst he usually tries to give his all, he looks he's too easily knocked off the ball, or he's too easily read by defenders, and he's not, or when he is trying to be quick, the defender still catches up with him, or he makes the wrong decision when he's in front of goal, or he doesn't play the right pass at the right time. Like, sometimes he finds a great position, gets through, gets space, could have a shot on goal, has an equally sensible, has a shot on available, but because he doesn't have the confidence, because he doesn't play regularly and he's not good when he does play sometimes, that he doesn't take that on. And so he tries to play a pass that he doesn't know to an arguably better player, and then it doesn't come off and we lose possession. And that's what happened the entire time that he came on against Brighton. There was that moment where he sort of ends up tackling one of our own players or something. And it just becomes a bit of a farce. And you make a rod for your own back when you become reliant on him to dig you out of games where your usual front 3 should be the ones that are scoring. Maybe these thoughts sound a bit jumbled, and sorry for that. But yeah. I thought Trent didn't play too badly. Again, because it felt like we were reverting back to those games where we went on a winless streak, where we didn't score in 5 games, where we were losing to Burnley, the likes of Burnley. You could see that level of that damage came back to our players' confidence levels again, which was a real disappointment. It never is nice to lose. It sucks that now we hadn't lost at home for 67 games or something, and now we've lost 2 in a row at home, and that hasn't happened since 2012 or something. Like, these are mind-blowing moments, and they do just make you want to despair a bit. And I felt very closed off that night, and that wasn't good and wasn't fun. But I'll do a preview for the City game in a little bit, but I want to say that, like, I think these problems will once again be resolved once we have a consistent pairing at the back. And it does seem that we will have Fabinho back for the City game. And Kabak is now available for selection because of the international clearance. And I think having those two as your number one centre backs will allow us to put more emphasis into midfield, rotate more in midfield, so we can put the likes of Henderson back where he belongs in midfield, running the show, and push everything 5 yards up the pitch instead of having to attack from deep and cover even more ground and risk losing possession closer to our own goal. And I think it will feel like closer to normality. And I'm glad that we got bodies in. Even if it does mean a new set of defensive pairings. Yeah. And it'll get some getting used to. I think I saw a really interesting point being made on the Redman TV. Paul Machin made the argument that, like, we're an incredible team, but in those clutch games, you need, like, a defender that will come along and score headers and pull you out at the last second. Or you'll have so you have different positions that can score and more of a variety of being able to score different goals. That's what happened, like, in this season that we won the league. Van Dijk would pop up with headers, Matip would, Joe Gomez would, even, and it gave us a lot more variety. And I think it meant that, like, there was less pressure on our front line all the time because we had goals throughout the team. And I think right now we don't have that. And so when the confidence drops in the front three, the entire team loses its confidence. And hopefully that can be resolved for Sunday, having most of the squad back, having the goalkeeper back. Yeah. I'm expecting a positive result on Sunday. I think we can really get ourselves back up for the big games. For games against teams that are more open, more expansive, attack more. I think we'll be able to find space and restore some confidence. I hope this video makes sense and isn't just me rambling too much. But yeah, hope everyone is well. The aim is to put out a preview for Sunday's game later tonight. Yeah. I'll probably do it in maybe a couple of hours, so maybe at like 7:30 or 8. Yeah, and it'll probably be like 25 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on how my voice is holding up. And then, yeah, bring on Sunday. Take care, everyone. Bye.